Boker Tov, everyone. Good morning. It's morning Torah. Rabbi Eric Solomon in Raleigh, North Carolina. Up a little earlier than normal. I got a early day. Got a long day today. Any case, I want to bring you some quick Torah. Parshat Emor. We're in the middle of Leviticus, and part of the section that I want to talk about today is one that I struggle with, and in fact, look at the Torah, and I hold back from doing this, but a circumstance that I really completely disagree with something in the Parsha, and I'm not really going to be able to offer an apologetic for it. In the Torah portion, again, we're focusing on the Kohanim, on the priests, on the leadership. It says specifically who cannot bring sacrifices in the worship, in the sacrificial ritual. It says those that have certain mutilations, have certain limbs that are broken or amputated. Others, I won't go into detail, but the bottom line, the person's disfigured in some way physically. And when someone's disfigured physically, the Torah says this person cannot bring sacrifices. Now, we can understand, obviously the Torah does not have a modern contemporary sense of inclusivity, of honoring those with physical disabilities. I mean, this is thousands of years ago. And we might be able to find some apologetics. Abraham Joshua Heschel apparently once said, I heard it taught to me, that why is it someone with only one eye cannot offer sacrifices? Because they don't have depth perception. And he meant that not just in literally like with the eyes, but kind of a spiritual depth perception. And that's a sweet drash. And we also can understand leadership, that the fact that someone's up in the front representing the people, that the people want to look at something that is going to be a model for them, quote unquote, something that is regular in the norm. But again, this is not consistent with our contemporary sensibilities, that every person has the ability to approach God. And this is not just something by me, this is like very kind of Hasidic teaching, that every person with their gifts can come to God. And what may appear as a deformity or a challenge may just be an alternative. Just an alternative, be like being left-handed. And to exclude people with disabilities from the ability to serve in leadership is a problem. It's really a problem. And I want to go beyond just the physical disabilities and tell a quick story from a maaseh, from a shul. Once was bar and bat mitzvah ceremonies. It's still a very, very meaningful b'nai mitzvah. We call them b mitzvah today, for children, but also for adults and for families, for congregations. It's a celebration. And it used to be the rabbi and the cantor and others the teachers would put the student through the ringer in order to learn how to lead the service, how to chant the Torah, how to give a speech, a Devar Torah, etc. It seemed like you have to do all these jobs in order to, at age 13, perform the functions of leading the service, leading the congregation. And no doubt, the kids, vast majority, do that. However, what's changed is that we don't want to see bar bat mitzvahs putting someone through the ringer and put them through a grinder and make them come on the other side is tough. We see it as an opportunity for a child to honor their commitment to the tradition and demonstrate their love for Judaism, hopefully love for God and the Torah. So we emphasize this is an opportunity. This is not a hazing, okay? So to cut to the chase, a lot of the kids that we deal with, and I deal with them closely, but so do our religious school staff, they may appear on the outside to look like every other kid. They don't have any type of obvious challenges in their body as described in the Torah portion. But internally, on their neshama, there is anxiety, fear, fear of crowds. There is fear of being on the bima, being on stage, so to speak. Enormous stress, insecurity, pressure from family, pressure from friends. It can be, for many kids, so overwhelming. Then you have the kids who maybe have some learning disabilities or learning challenges. Just studying Torah, chanting. They don't have great voices. Now, these existed in the past, but it was kind of like you forced the kid up there and did it. But today, we don't want to make the kids suffer. And the pressure they feel in life in other areas can be enormous. The whole road to nowhere, I'll tell you, academically. So when I work with kids, we're trying hard, not just me, our tutors, God bless them, and our religious school faculty, we're encouraging them. We're guiding them. We are lovingly supporting them to get up on that bima. So we had one particular student about a decade ago who was deeply struggling with anxiety, deeply negative, had a very difficult family background, completely not his fault, but his parents, one particular parent, was extraordinarily difficult. I wouldn't have used the word abusive per se, but difficult person, and was really causing a lot of challenge for the child in his ability. Even question whether we'd have a bar mitzvah experience or not and become a bar mitzvah in a public way. There's a lot of discussion, decided he would do it. I was so proud of him. Came time for his bar mitzvah, and he was just unable. He was simply able to read and chant from the Torah. He was not able to do all the other aspects because of his anxiety, his insecurity, his stress. He was some learning challenges, whatever. It was amazing. I was so proud of him. I was in tears on the bima that day. And we didn't discuss this with anyone. Obviously, it's not one's business. Parents knew, the certain family members knew. After service was over, we'd go to the Shabbat lunch called the Kiddush and as I'm walking out, one of the long-standing members of our congregation, someone who I have a love and heart for, but he could say things that were harif and inappropriate at times, very loudly, comes over to him, Rabbi, when I was a bar mitzvah, and whatever, we used to do it the old-fashioned way. We made him do the Torah, the Haftarah, the blessings, the Var Torah, lead all the service. What is this? Kid, you call him a bar mitzvah? So first of all, he said it very loudly, and it might have been within earshot of some of the family. I wasn't sure, so I was pissed, livid. I pulled him to the side. I told him as calmly as I could in the spirit of the rebuke I talked about before. Listen, you don't know what's going on with this kid. This kid, of course, in his heart, he wanted to do all these things. Yosef. But he's struggling. And it's a bracha that he even came up on the bima to do this. Thank God he has a positive Jewish experience. Thank God he's taken on responsibility as a Jewish adult. The Ol Malchut Shamayim and the mitzvot on for himself. And he led. Take what he gave to us. You have no idea what's behind the scenes. The pain, the tears. To what brought him to today. And he was apologetic. He had no idea. Now, I recognize he had no idea. And this is a good guy. The guy is he's a little of a jokester. And he likes to look back on the old days of how Judaism was back when he was a kid is the right way and everything's deteriorated over time. Okay, whatever. It's another conversation. Bottom line is, when you see someone up in leadership position, whether that's a child or an adult, it's a rabbi, a politician, a boss, it's not easy to be up in front. Now, some of us love it. Look, some people are power hungry. I get it. But a lot of people, being a leader's tough. It's not easy. And we need leaders. Look at this time right now. When we have strong leadership, we are grateful for it. And when there's poor leadership, we suffer. And if we disagree with a leader, absolutely we should critique that leader for what they say and for what they do. That is our job. That's how leaders, frankly, are going to get better. They're going to hear what we have to say, and they're going to improve, including myself. But there's a backstory to all people, including leaders. And then it's hard to get up on the bima, on the pulpit, on the dais, in front of the TV. There's anxiety, there's insecurity. There are the challenges, we're going to call it deformities in the language of the Parsha, that are inside, you can't see. And if we want great leaders, then we're going to have to encourage them as opposed to attacking them. And when we do critique them what they say and do, not on what they look like, not on what we perceive as something that, because they have some disability, like a stutter, that we should make fun of them, or that they're short. We should critique them on the merits, the content of what they say and do, maybe their character, but not what they look like. So come back. The Torah portion talks about people, the leaders, that what they look like, they can't serve. I want to say with La'aniyut dati, with all humility and bechavod. We've advanced past that. We want all people to step forward, have the right to step forward, and to receive the gifts of all those that can step forward. We are limited without their gifts. And we want to critique. It's not based on whether they have mutilations or lack something physically. It can be based on what they say and what they do. That's kosher. That's helpful. But behind the scenes, even leaders are struggling. Not all struggles are ones that you can see. Some of them are inside. Boker Tov, a sweet day, a healthy day, a sensitive day to even our leaders that are trying their best right now.